these children haven't asked to be placed in the situations that they've been placed in. And, to give them a sense of safety and security for maybe the first time that they've ever experienced it.
Even if it's just a short time.
And even if, just give them what we've got while we've got them.
When you don't think your kids are listening to the stuff that you're teaching and saying, they repeat it back to you someday.
Usually about the time I'm going, is anything sticking?
Right.
That's about the time God's like, repeat it, so she knows.
Yep. I didn't see God's plan in the beginning. I just did what was on our heart, what we were called to do.
We've taken and felt the calling to take into our family. We've done foster care in the past, and in 2016, got a little boy, not through traditional fostering, but he was with a friend of ours. We see God's hand in that situation from the get-go. We're getting set up to do what they call respite care, which is just temporary care on the weekends. And we were getting in contact with the state to get set up to do that for her, to give her a break and to give him a break, and get acclimated to us a little bit more with the mindset that it may, that he may come to stay. And so that was...
That was on a Friday?
That was on a Friday that we signed the papers to get that put in place. And the following Wednesday, things changed in the home, and he came to stay. So that was not the plan we had. We had everything set up for him, which was great. That was not our plan. That was God's plan. And so he already had established a safe place for him, so there was no question at that point where he was going to go. They knew where he could come, and that he was wanted in our home. We took him in like he was ours from the get-go.
Right.
And so we didn't have kind of those barriers that he was just with us temporarily, because we didn't treat it like that. And so, but as a mother, I was like, who wants to be somebody to tell a mother that your time is up?
Exactly.
At this point,
and we did not want to do that, so we just stayed on the backside of it, and it's like, it's gonna go how God wants it to go. We're just gonna see what happens.
And that was our prayer, because we didn't want it to be our timing. We wanted it to be God's timing,
right? Because
we knew that there would be a peace that would come with that decision at that time. Because otherwise, that was my mindset was, I cannot be a mother to tell another mother your time is up. And then there was a shift in things. Some situations happened, things changed, and Greg and I knew
it was time.
Greg and I were talking between ourselves, not with him present, just talking stuff out. And he came home from school last year and was like, I want to get adopted. And I'm like, well, some things would change. And so we discussed some of the things that would potentially change. Like, this is what he said, like, is this a green light go, So we knew that, at this point, because had we done it a year prior, there would have been some resistance, we felt like, from him. And we didn't want that. We want it to be something that he wants to do.
The adoption day was just exciting, we got up and got prepared, and it was just nerves, you get just, even though you knew deep down inside everything's going to go well, everything's going to go smooth, you're just nervous. It's basically scared. I was nervous and scared just because we've worked hard. This is what we want. We know God's been in this. We're like, what if? And that's where, the doubt, you're like, that's the enemy creeping in and giving you the doubt. Well, God's been in this, but it could possibly not happen, and that's where I was, even though I knew better. And he just, and then we went into the courtroom, and it was just, it was smooth. Everything went the way it was supposed to. It was smooth. We walked out of there, excited.
Right. And he said, yay, now I'll have a better life. And then he said, now I have a sister. And I'm like, looking at him like,
you've always had
You lived with her for 3 years. You have a sister. But in his mind, he's had those barriers up of not knowing what if, when, if he's going to stay.
Having a different last name than we did.
Like, outside looking in, for us, we've always had that acceptance. We've always had everything, but
for him, he's
had those barriers up, and so
God definitely opened the door. He's been leading from day one.
Absolutely.
He put it on our hearts to do it, to start with.
Stick with it. I always say we're along for the ride, because our plan's not always God's plan, and that's it in a nutshell. But we know that He's going to have our best interest at heart, and whether
And His plan's way better than ours. God made a way for our family.